Kinaway members. I hope you had a very happy holiday and are looking forward to what 2023 brings for you. Today we are going to carry on with our wellness webinar. The topic that we started with in 2022 was mindfulness, run by Brendon Hede, our wellbeing clinician. So before Brendon takes you through the second part of the mindfulness information, I'd just like to acknowledge the country that I'm working on today. I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country and would like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, emerging. So Brendon, great to see you. Happy New Year. Please give us a summary of what we learned last year in December about mindfulness and take it away. Thank you.
Sure. No worries, Deb. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year to all, and hope you're all well and looking forward to a busy and prosperous year with your businesses. Mindfulness is it's a hot word. You hear it a lot. And so we thought we'd do a couple of webinars around mindfulness and give everybody a little bit of information if they're interested in what it is and how it works. So for you guys who haven't seen it, part one we did, mindfulness part one we did in December. Now, if you want to, you can go and find it on any of our platforms. It'll be on the Kinaway website. It'll be on our LinkedIn. It'll be on our Facebook. If you want to go and find that and start with part one, you can go and find that. And then what you can do is go back and have a look at today's part two around mindfulness. If you haven't had a look at part one, what we did was we asked questions like, how does the mind work? We also asked, and we answered the question, what is mindfulness? Is it sitting cross-legged and trying to think about nothing, what was some of the facts around mindfulness? We asked the question, where does our mind go? And then we went through a number of little skills. What are some simple skills that we could use, and what happens when our thoughts take hold of us? Little things like that is what we went through in December. And we also went through with, what are our thoughts exactly? And, how can we work? We talked about our wise mind and our reactive mind. And how can we work with our wise mind when dealing with difficult thoughts? Because, we have the wise mind and we have the reactive mind. And then today, I thought we'd kick it off with our thoughts and how and our emotions. So that's what we'll do today, Deb, is we'll kick that off with part two today, if that's all right with you. And we'll just go through this for a little bit. We won't try and give you too much information at once. So that's why we're breaking it down into different parts so that people can get through this as easy as they can. Because if we try and hit you and barrage you with too much stuff around this subject, you can get lost a little bit. So we thought that's why we'd break it down into smaller portions.
Okay, so thank you, Brendon, for the summary of last year. So my very first question is, can you please explain how our thoughts relate to our emotions?
Yeah, good one. Okay, so there are some emotions you like to feel. These emotions feel good. They feel comfortable, make you smile and laugh and dance badly without caring. You enjoy being in the moment with them, and you probably wish that they were around all the time. Other emotions feel a lot less pleasant. These emotions don't make you smile and laugh. In fact, they make you feel horrible, horribly tense and distraught. Physically, they can make your chest tight, more muscles clench, your blood pressure increases. When these show up, yourself overreacting to situations or saying things which are not in your nature. You may not want to be in the moment with these emotions. You might try and avoid them as much as you can. let me ask whether the following emotions are good or bad or neither. So if you can picture these following emotions, picture delight, picture fear, picture excitement or frustration, sadness, happiness, joy, grief, pride, and picture agitation. So how many emotions did we classify as good and how many did we classify as bad? There is a belief that the correct answer is 0. Your emotions are neither good nor bad. Of course, some emotions can feel quite uncomfortable in the body, but rather than simply classifying them as bad, it is important to acknowledge their importance as a messenger. In fact, emotions can be incredibly useful, providing great insight into who you are and what you stand for in life. To explain why, picture an iceberg, and while it's easy to recognize what's on the surface, there is always something bigger below. They're your values. Your values are the things that you care about, the things that we stand for, the things that make us who we are. Whenever an emotion appears, it's very helpful to examine what value is below. To give you an example, when grief pops up, it's very likely to be because we care deeply about someone who has passed away. The emotion honors the relationship we had with this person and acknowledges that we are missing their presence in our lives. When fear pops up, it is likely because we value our safety. When we get really annoyed at someone cutting in front of us in the queue for coffee, it's maybe because we value fairness. All emotions are messages trying to tell us something. They are telling us to look below the surface. They are telling us to examine our values. By doing so, we will work out why we're feeling the way we're feeling. Humans have evolved as emotional creatures. We need our emotions. Our emotions are trying to tell us something very important, things about our values. When something just doesn't fit with our values, it can bring up a range of uncomfortable emotions. While you may not like we may not like the physical feeling of these emotions, they often provide the catalyst for positive change. So reflect on a time when we made a meaningful change in our lives. It could be leaving a job or ending a toxic relationship or moving overseas. It is very likely we experienced a whole lot of uncomfortable emotions when it came to taking these actions. But if we took an action which was in line with our values, it is likely to have provided some very positive psychological benefits. How did we feel when we finally took that valued action? It's likely some of these old uncomfortable emotions disappeared. They may have been replaced by other emotions such as relief, excitement, or perhaps some worry about what to do next. By taking a valued action, we would have moved in a positive direction towards a life of meaning and purpose.
So then, Brendon, can you please tell us what are some of the facts about emotions?
Yeah. There are a few simple, quick ones. First one is uncomfortable emotions often arise when events in our life clash with our values. Another fact is that one positive way of responding to an uncomfortable emotion is to examine the value connected to it and then take action in line with this value. Another factor, avoiding difficult emotions is an unhelpful strategy. And by using mindfulness, you can learn to interact we can learn to interact with our emotions in a far healthier way. If you're devastated that your football team lost a match, the value is the all-consuming passion for your team. Now, your reactive mind, which we talked about in part one, is pretty hopeless at dealing with uncomfortable emotions. Typically, it will try and push these emotions away or fight against them. It really doesn't like being in the same space as them. When it can't get rid of these feelings, it may engage in some many different behaviours to avoid dealing with them. But emotions don't need to be feared. They need to be pushed away, fought against, or avoided. They don't need to be pushed away, fought against, or avoided. Doing so often leads to much greater suffering. So rather than go into battle with your emotions, it's helpful to honour them and create space for them. And when heightened emotions appear, creating space is a valuable skill to employ.
So then how do we take action in line with our values?
All right. Let's start talking about death. Each second you listen to a clock, you are 1 second. We're all 1 second closer to death, right? Tick tock, tick tock. When your time comes, what sort of life would we have lived? What are the things we would have stood for? What legacy will we leave behind? Would we have done the things in life which are important? What are the things we will regret? When people close to death are asked what they would have done differently, their responses have a common theme. They regret the things they didn't do, the risks they didn't take, the dreams they didn't pursue, the people they didn't make time for. Their biggest regrets are not taking valued actions. In this life, time is the only real currency we have. So let's not waste another second. Let's identify which values are important to us and commit to taking actions in line with them. What values in your life do you most want to work on? I'll give you a list of values which many regard as being significant in their lives. Some might be of great importance to us right now, others maybe less so. Some values we may already looking after well, while others may be a little neglected. And choose just 3 values and where we'd like to take action. Values which might benefit from a little TLC. We can write them down and circle your 3. So a list of values. Let's go through some. So we've got family, and we'll try and bring some of these up on the screen so that you get a chance to write these down. But write down a list of these values: family, life partner, parenting, friends, social life, work, career, education, fun, spirituality. Spirituality is a good one. Community, health, and work-life balance. Work/life balance. So if you've written those down, after this, you could go through and circle 3. But doing nothing is easy, right? Taking valued actions requires a little more effort sometimes, and it also takes a bit of bravery. But I want us to feel the fear and do it anyway. A valued action doesn't have to be something big or dramatic. They could be quite simple. For example, if you circle friendship, you can write down, I'm going to call Kate and arrange a catch up. Or if you've circled health, you write down, I'm going to dust off the old bike, I'm going to go for a ride. Or if you've circled family, you can write down, I'm going to start building that tree house for the kids. Committing to small actions is often even a better way of moving in that direction that we want.
Yeah, actually, I heard something along those lines on a podcast. Like, in some ways, having regret is a good thing because it encourages you to take positive action to get rid of that regret. So
Yep.
it can be a good
Yep.
thing, regret.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
on that note, what are some of the other facts about values?
Yeah. Values are great. We always need to go back and revisit them because our values will change over time. But the facts about values, right? Clarifying our values can help connect us to our sense of purpose in life and what truly matters most. Another fact is having a strong sense of purpose. It bolsters psychological resilience. Another fact is that the valued action involves making a commitment to engage in small, regular activities which are reflective of our life values. And another fact is it's best to make valued actions workable, simple, but specific and flexible. For example, I commit to taking a brisk walk, 25-minute walk, 3 days a week. So it's quite specific, but it's also flexible. It doesn't say which days of the week. It's workable because we can find the time, and it's simple, right? It doesn't need too much, doesn't require too much effort to commit to that, to 25-minute walk. So if we're unrealistic or vague regarding the actions that we'll take, we can lose motivation and set ourselves up for failure. Our lives it's not one long smooth ride, right? It's complex with ups and downs, difficult emotions, and all sorts of tricky situations. So throughout our lives, we'll have to make many critical decisions, and thankfully, we have something more powerful than a GPS to guide us. We have our values. Our values can tell us much more than just left or right. They can tell us how to treat a loved one, how to do what's important, and how to move in a direction that's right for us. When we understand our values, we are likely to have more purpose and direction in our lives. We are also likely to become far more resilient. But to make full use of this built-in guidance system, we first need to call upon our wise mind and understand how our emotions are linked to our values. When a difficult emotion pops up, our reactive mind typically pops up with it. Even something which is a tiny problem can send our reactive mind into a highly worked up state. In this reactive state, we're not often we are often not who we'd like to be. We might swear, we might lash out at others, or take actions which don't reflect our values. So our focus is likely to become narrow, and we may fail, to see many of the choices which are available to us. We may also fail to recognise the potential consequences of our actions. So recognizing we're being drawn into this reactive state is something psychologists call meta-awareness. And it's the first step to engaging your wise mind. When you engage your wise mind, we can stop behaving in a reactive manner. Instead, we can choose to honor our values and start making decisions in line with them. Let's look at an example of a mindful choice. Say we've arrived home after a long day, and all you want to do is have a nice cup of tea and a little peace and quiet. Unfortunately, our housemate has used all the tea and is now loudly practicing the drums. You start to feel an emotion building up we start to feel an emotion build up inside us. And rather than flying into a rage, we decide to slow down, take some deep breaths, and connect with our wise mind. We then take a moment to observe the situation from an outsider's perspective. Doing this enables us to see that the problem isn't actually that big. The housemate, who was usually more considerate, probably didn't even hear you come in and running out of tea wouldn't normally seem like such an issue. So we name the emotion that we're feeling, frustrated. Now we value being able to wind down and take care of ourselves after a long, difficult day. So ideally, we'd like to return to a quiet home and relax with a nice cup of tea. Rather than getting angry with our housemate, you choose to be respectful. We explain to our housemate that we're exhausted and ask if they could stop practicing. We then make ourselves a cup of hot chocolate. And in the morning, we can ask our housemate to pick up some tea. While small things can easily set off our reactive mind, practicing mindfulness can bring calm in stressful scenarios and help you respond in line with your values. So you can press pause, take actions which are important, and choose to let other things be. One of the most important resilient lessons we can learn is to recognize when a situation is inside or outside our sphere of influence. The sphere of influence. So after all, if we can't do anything to change a situation, there is absolutely no point worrying about it. We should feel relieved, relaxed, and stress-free, right? But unfortunately, we aren't always so wise. So while we may logically realize we can't take action, our reactive mind may still cling on to problems, frantically working to solve the unsolvable. Not having the option to take action can also be challenging and bringing up more stress and difficult emotions.
Well,
And
I
Deb,
really,
yeah, I
sorry.
think that's a lot, right? So we might pull the pin on today's session and just call that mindfulness part 2. It's a lot of stuff for people to digest, and if we keep going, we'll start forgetting what we've learned. But hopefully that's a little session that people can listen to and then go back and listen to, and hopefully pick apart a few bits and pieces as they go through it. But I'd also wanted to just at this stage remind people that I'm the small business wellbeing clinician at Kinaway. The phone number is 1-800-KINAWAY. I'm here from 9 till 5, Monday to Friday. And initially I'm here just to be here to have a chat, have a yarn. If you're going through anything in regards to stress or any kind of anxiety, which could be related to the business or whatever you're going through, please give us a call. My service is completely free, and it's also private. It's confidential. So you can have a chat, and this service also goes to all the business owners, the members of Kinaway, the business owners, but it's also available to your staff and also to your families, guys. So feel free if you notice anything with your staff and if someone's struggling, you can give them the 1-800-KINAWAY number, and Brendon will answer the phone, and I'm more than happy to have a listen and have a chat about anything that you might be going through.
Thank you, Brendon. Thank you very much for that second session. I got a couple of good tips myself. I really like it's like the 6-second rule. Just stop and think before you react. So as you said, take a moment. And the other thing that I really like is just realizing that some things I can and I can't control. So let go what I can't control.
What you
So
can't
thank you
control.
for that. So thank you for those lessons.
That's all right. As you say, when you stop and take a moment, that's engaging your wise mind. You're not your reactive mind's not taking over, and you're not throwing stuff or saying things and all of that. You're actually stopping and taking a moment and engaging your wise mind, which, as you remember, we talked about that in part 1 about your wise mind, what it is, what it does, how it works. And that habit, it's a good habit to engage that wise mind all the time. So should we finish with a little mindfulness exercise? We did this last time.
Yes,
So
please.
that's what
That'd be great.
yeah, good. No worries. All right. So for the people who, excuse me, that are here with us, see if you can take a moment just to sit comfortably with your feet flat on the floor and maybe place your hands on your knees. Relax and take a deep, long breath. Fill up your lungs real good and hold it for a second. Now, when you exhale, close your eyes down and let yourself relax. Get rid of the surface tension in your body. Let your shoulders relax. It's okay to relax today. Now put your awareness on your eyelids. You know that you can relax those eyelids beautifully. You know that you can relax those eyes so deeply that as long as you choose not to remove that relaxation, those eyelids just won't work. And when you know that you've done that, hold on to that relaxation. As you breathe, allow a feeling of relaxation come up through your toes, over the tops of your feet. And just allow that feeling of comfort come up your shins and over your knees and over your thighs. Keep the deep breathing going and let that feeling of relaxation now come up through the front of your body, over your hips, over your abdomen. Keep the breathing going, that's right. And allow that feeling of comfort now to come up your torso and allow it to go over your shoulders and down your arms and relax. Let that feeling go right through your forearms and down into your fingers. And from the shoulders, it can come up through your neck and allow that feeling of comfort just through your jaw, up through your face, around your eyes and your forehead. And let it slowly creep over your head and down the back of your scalp and into the back of your neck. And let that feeling of relaxation and comfort go down through your shoulders and your back, all the way down your spine. Let that feeling creep down now over your backside and down through your hamstrings. Keep the breathing going, that's right. Let that feeling now of comfort go down through your calf muscles and into the back of your heel, down through the bottom of your feet and back down towards your toes again. And with the breathing exercise that you've done today, it is a relaxing thought that if you could do this a couple of times a day, or even if you sat here for 10 minutes and maybe did a body scan twice, we've just done one quickly, took 5 minutes. If you did it twice, it would take 10 minutes. That would be a great way, a great habit to have when it comes to mindfulness. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back and join us. And so that's a little mindfulness exercise that we can do. We can do that every day. It's nice and easy, but that is what mindfulness is. A nice relaxing exercise with some deep breathing. But the key to it is obviously finding a quiet place, a nice, quiet, comfortable spot. A lot of us have busy lives and kids and lots of noise. The key is to find, and you can even do it before bed when the house is quiet and dark. You can just sit on the end of the bed and do that for 10 minutes. If you could do it every day, you do notice some changes in your behavior. You're just a little bit more laid back, a little bit more relaxed. And that's the best way to engage your wise mind when situations come up is, as you said, Deb, is take that breath and just take a moment and go, hang on. that's where your mindfulness really can kick in and do you the world of good. But that's the exercise. That's the mindfulness part 2 for today. I hope you got some enjoyment and learned something, or think about trying something new, particularly around the values. I love values, and I think they're important for us. And as I said earlier, they constantly change. You might have 3 really important values today, but in 6 months' time, you might put a line through one and another one will pop up, and that's okay. Values do change constantly. But that's it. Thanks, Deb. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Brendon. See you next time.
Yep, will do.